hurricane season, June 1st through November 30th. During this time, South Floridians must stay alert and up to date on weather conditions, which have the potential to change our lives.
Harriet Lane is traveling so closely alongside the Eagle. Cadets on an up-close personal look at some of the training that goes on aboard this ship.
For a few brief moments, I step into a military role. This .50 caliber machine gun is powerful, more than enough to enable the Coast Guard to, for instance, stop a drug boat. Then it's time to go. My nerves are a bit frazzled, but oh, what a thrill to climb into this F-16 fighter Falcon. Pilots affectionately call it the Viper, capable of 1,200 miles an hour. And now, the moment of truth.
Ready to go? Get on the string.
Ready as I'm gonna get.
All right.
Rob says he is now motivated to share his story with others living with HIV, saying he is the living, breathing example of the success that the HOPE Act can bring. He forged a global partnership with the Yarbough Hut here in Montana, General Electric, and public and private businesses. Now they've all come together with just one goal. The goal is to learn what may have caused such a drastic climate change. How and why did Mars lose its liquid water, lose its early atmosphere? So what can we do to make ourselves safer? We asked police that question, and what we discovered was practical information, techniques to reduce the risk of becoming a victim. Many of the individuals veterans in need is helping are dealing with what she calls the hidden wounds of war, most notably the effects of post-traumatic stress disorder. Firefighters and/or paramedics. The career field welcomes and encourages both sexes, but as I recently found out, for women, it may take a double dose of hard work and passion to excel. And for recruit hopefuls, training includes going into real fire. Male or female, all of the hours of training and preparation, this is what it all comes down to.
Researchers first scan the park by air looking for alligator nests, then mark the coordinates. The accuracy of this year's egg count is even more critical, with Everglades restoration becoming more of a reality.
An American Airlines jet bound for South Florida is forced to make an emergency landing in Los Angeles. The 757 left San Francisco bound for Miami when the pilot reported smoke and the smell of fuel in the cockpit. The jet was carrying hazardous material, but it's not clear if that was the source of the smoke. No injuries were reported. Miami police are looking for the driver of a car involved in a deadly drag race on the Rickenbacker Causeway. David Vega died Sunday night when his motorcycle crashed during a race with a green late 90s Nissan Sentra or Altima. Vega was not wearing a helmet, but investigators say it probably would not have made a difference because of the massive injuries to his body. Police know he crashed into the railing. What they don't know is whether the other car nudged him. It is quite possibly one of the most infamous murder cases in South Florida. 3 dead and a killer still on the loose. And as Tom Yamish reports, the hunt for the Boca Mall murderer is back in the headlines as police release a 911 call from the morning a mother and daughter were found dead. A man accused of killing a BSO deputy has been sentenced to 30 years in prison for robbing a bank and 2 drugstores. Michael Mazza apologized for the robberies, which took place during an 8-day span in February 2007. He was en route to trial for the bank robbery last November when prosecutors say he killed Deputy Paul Ryan. Mazza, who was previously sentenced to life imprisonment for another bank robbery, could be sentenced to death if convicted of the deputy's murder. Playing it safe while patrolling. Still ahead here on the CW, South Florida drivers are being asked to do one simple thing: move over. We'll explain. Motorists ducking for cover, a wild shootout in the middle of a busy California freeway. And who could forget his 7 words you can never say on TV? Well, tonight, words of praise are pouring in for the late George Carlin. And to get South Florida news and video anytime, it's easy. Go to sunsentinel.com. It is the law and it's common sense. It's also common courtesy and it is a lifesaver. And as Tisha Lewis reports, the Florida Highway Patrol is laying down the law on safety. Here's the story. He was funny to some, controversial to others, but one thing there was little debate about: George Carlin always spoke his mind. 8 lives and counting. Still to come, firemen come to the rescue, but not before a tiny feline uses up one of its 9 lives. Oh, they say curiosity killed the cat, and that could have been the case this afternoon if not for a concerned bystander and a team of feline-loving firefighters. DeMarco Morgan has today's race to rescue a curious little kitten. Probably one of the best rescues of the entire day, especially considering that it really wasn't all that great outside in the world of weather, right, John? Okay, here's your Monday night riddle. What has 3 legs, no hair, and 1 eye? You want to know the answer? Well, it's the world's ugliest dog. All right, that's going to do it for us on this Monday night here on the CW. Thanks so much for having us in. We will look for you back here tomorrow night at 10. Have a good night. And police are still trying to sort out the circumstances surrounding the death of a baby in Liberty City. Tuesday, a 7-month-old in the care of his mother's boyfriend was rushed to the hospital where he died. A second sick child was found in the home and remains hospitalized. And as a result, the mother's 3 living children are now in DCF custody. There will be a shelter hearing tomorrow to determine where to place those children. A group of students at Lauderhill Middle School gear up to send goods to Haiti, but what prompted their drive to help? Well, the students say a story they saw in our newscast about the storm-related devastation in Haiti inspired them. Along with the help from a guidance counselor, students collected dozens of clothing and food items, and today they shipped all those items off to Haiti. Here's an interesting one. One airline is filtering what flies through the skies and into your laptop. American Airlines now says it will filter its GoGo in-flight internet service to block pornography websites. The ban comes after complaints from passengers and flight attendants about objectionable material appearing on some people's computers. American is now working with the internet carrier to make the filtering happen. Earlier this week, Delta also announced it would filter its upcoming internet service. Do you know how many people that is going to save from embarrassment?
I was thinking the same thing.
Gotta love it.
Oh, that's great.
Tonight, we are learning new details in this investigation, and it turns out that Jesus Barrenechea might not be the only officer in trouble in this case. Tom Yamas working the very latest on this story outside the Miami Beach Police Department with our top story. New tonight, a tremendous accomplishment for dozens of South Florida foster children. More than 100 state foster care students graduated from high school today. The ceremony was held on the University of Miami campus, and the keynote speaker was Tracy Mourning, wife of longtime Heat star Alonzo Mourning, who spent much of his life in foster care. She offered the students advice as they enter the next phase of their lives.
I want you all to have a love for learning, and I want you to follow your passion and live your purpose.
It's estimated only 50% of 18-year-olds leaving foster care earn their diplomas. Congratulations to them. It was a night of legends and, most importantly, giving. He looks familiar. Our very own Tony Segreto emceed the inaugural Legends for Charity South Florida Wine Soiree in Fort Lauderdale tonight. Also on the Legends list, Miami Dolphins head coach Tony Sperano. The event benefits St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and they do such wonderful work. So congratulations, everybody out there tonight. Hello, South Florida, and welcome to the newest and hottest show on MBTV, Cooking with Fire. I'm Julia Yarbough. So, what is Cooking with Fire? Picture this. Iron Chef meets Chicago Fire, then sprinkle in a little homegrown South Florida spice. We're highlighting some of the best gourmet cooks on South Beach. Not inside five-star hotels, but inside the firehouses of Miami Beach. Myself, along with MBTV correspondent Melissa Berthier, are taking you behind the scenes to find out what really goes on in our firehouses.
Our vision is to aspire to be a world-class agency which protects our diverse community.
You come here and you do what you're supposed to do, the opportunity to go places in this department or go to different units in this department will come.
Love what you do, and you'll never work a day in your life.
You can take a stand. You can become something in life. You don't have to be afraid. You just step out the box and you can become the person that you want to become.
At the Miami Beach Police Department, we are you.
Meteorologists at the National Hurricane Center work around the clock during hurricane season, keeping tabs on tropical activity. How do they gather real-time data on characteristics of specific storms? With the help of the elite team of hurricane hunters.
August 13, 2004. Hurricane Charlie walloped Florida.
We're going to take a little cover here for a moment.
It was August 2004. The state of Florida found itself in the news and weather headlines more than once, and in the path of strong, destructive storms. Hurricane Charlie making landfall in southwest Florida as a Category 4 hurricane, the strongest storm to hit Florida since Andrew in 1992. Spawning 9 tornadoes, Charlie caused catastrophic wind damage, left 10 people dead, and handed the state a bill of $6.75 billion in damage. Barely a teenager at the time, Lisa Freilich lived on the West Coast. Experiencing Charlie, the full force of Mother Nature's fury laid the groundwork for her career.
I saw an actual video of the Air Force hurricane hunters, and I vividly remember saying that's what I want to do. So I went to school and got a degree in meteorology at Florida State, go Noles, and from there I set myself to try and become an Air Force hurricane hunter.
Hurricane hunters. If it sounds somewhat ominous, that's because it is. When a storm is approaching, this group of well-trained United States Air Force scientists, meteorologists, and aviation experts load up into the ultra-durable C-130, an aircraft able to withstand most everything and fly right into hurricanes to gather as much scientific information as possible about the composition of the storm.
We go out there, we figure out what's going on, and we can exactly pinpoint the storms, the winds that the storm has, the effects that it could have for the population.
Like most emergency operations, the hurricane hunters don't work alone. While the pilot navigates the C-130 through the interior bands of the hurricane, this aircraft, flown by the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, NOAA experts, flies on the perimeter, circles the storm. It gathers crucial upper-level atmospheric information. Weather radar data is collected from 45,000 feet, then sent to the National Hurricane Center.
We work as a team, really talented group of individuals to look at the hazards, put the mitigations in place to make sure that we get through the storm safely.
Teamwork from the upper levels of the atmosphere, partnerships on the ground. Throughout the hurricane season, weather experts are hard at work at the National Hurricane Center interpreting data in efforts to give us as much practical and potentially life-saving information as possible.
Well, our forecasts and warnings are as accurate as we can possibly make them. We apply all kinds of technology to that process, including the Hurricane Hunter aircraft behind me. That data gets collected in real time from inside the hurricane, bounces off the satellite, comes right into our laps, and helps us make more accurate forecasts and warnings.
For First Lieutenant Freilich, a real-life childhood experience that shaped her life, creating a weather expert determined to help others plan and prepare.